What up, y'all? It's your boy RodneyPerry. From time to time, went on social media, and I saw a friend of mine early this morning. You see her right there. And I was on her Instagram page. Well, before we get into that, first of all, she's dope. Her name is Anita Hawkins. Just an awesome human being. And she's a great follow. Like, if you follow people on Instagram, some people are like, you follow and you don't care if they ever say anything. This lady is an amazing follow. If you follow her, you get to see her entrepreneurship. You get to see her modeling, rocking the runway, her philanthropy. She's an author. She's a stylist. She's a she doggone. You kind of do it all. Like, I read your bio today. I was like, it was stuff I just didn't know.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, your real estate endeavors, I didn't know about. You know what I mean? And Gary, Indiana, and I know what that means to be from Gary, Indiana, and to be where you are. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. Gary, Indiana is not a game, to grow up in that place. But what really touched me this morning, and I read something on your site, said your goal to touch lives of others and inspire giving back in our society.
Yes.
And this morning you gave me something. I thought it was an awesome broadcast. You began to tell a story of something that happened to you, and I'm going to save that for you to do.
Okay.
But when you spoke of your skepticism, I'm that dude. So I wanted to hear with my own ears. Tell me about, well, first of all, how are you and your family?
Everybody's good. My daughter's she's in LA because she's in school in California.
Oh, wow.
So now she's just online at the apartment and making TikTok videos. So she's good.
She's good. Let me tell you something. TikTok is cracking right now.
Right, it's cracking.
Now, have you done it? Have you done the whole thing yet?
Man, no. I do have a TikTok now, but I have not done a video as a
I need you to do a video, Anita.
I got to get it together.
Because you're a savage. You're sassy, or whatever they be saying.
I'm going to try to get it. I'm trying to pull one out.
All right. So tell me the story, man. I really want to hear it.
Okay, well, I went to Florida to support my spiritual mom. Her and her husband, Francina and Michael Norman, they were being installed into their new church.
Okay.
So there were several ministers that were there because it was like a 3-day, almost like not a revival, but they just had pastors.
Like, almost like a conference.
Yeah. So I went to the second service and I thought that my spiritual mom was going to minister, but there was someone else. I'm like, oh man, I didn't miss it. I should have been at first service.
Right.
So we stand up there. He comes up, minister comes up. Before he even hits the pulpit, he asks people to stand up. Anybody that has pain in their body, stand up. So my little guy sister behind me over my shoulder, you need to stand up. You need to stand up. You've been complaining about your back for years. I'm like, man, I don't believe in this stuff. Like I said, this man ain't gonna do nothing. So I stand up. And there was so many people that stood up that day in the service. And it was just automatic. It was like, one person said, oh, my back don't hurt no more. Then the usher in the aisle, Bishop said something to him. He was like, oh, shoot. He gets the TikToking and stuff like, oh, no, I'm good.
Right.
This is, all of y'all got paid this morning before I got here.
Come on. I know y'all playing. I know y'all playing,
right? So it really wasn't enough time in the service to do all of that before he started his sermon. So they had everybody sit down. I'm like, I don't know why I stood up anyway. So he get done with the sermon. So then he says, all of the people that stood up, stand up again. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm not getting up. So
I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing this with you, sir.
Lata's behind me. She said, Nita, get up. You know your back still hurting. I said, girl, if you don't leave me alone. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching. They bring up 2 chairs. And it's Bishop, and then he has his armor bearer, who's also a prophet, that's standing beside him. And they're literally bringing people up. He's holding their feet. He's literally holding their feet in the air. He like kind of twist and turn a little
Now, when
bit.
you say holding their feet, you sit in the chair and he grab your feet.
So you sit in the chair and then he tells you to sit straight up, push your back all the way to the back of the
You had
chair.
your shoes on?
Take your shoes off.
Okay.
You remove your shoes, and he places each hand in each foot in each hand, and he literally holds them for a few seconds and put them down. I'm like, okay, people.
So how many? Tell me this. How many people are up there? Because you there. It's a few people.
I'm sitting on the front row.
Okay.
So there's, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, probably about 5 people that walked up. Probably about 5 or 6 people that walked up.
Okay.
My spiritual mom comes down out the pulpit, pulls me out the front row. She was like, "Get your butt up there." And I said, "I'm not getting up there." I said, I done seen this on TV. I done seen the spiritual cloths, the water,
all of it.
I done seen all that. I said, "It's not real." She said, "I cannot believe you." And she said, "The prophetess has spoken. Get your butt up here." Now she holding my hand. And we're standing behind the bishop as he's, holding one of the woman's feet. And she said, "Did you see that shit?" I said, "She stretched her leg out. He ain't do nothing." Now
you said her leg actually was like short and
it shifted. Like her leg shifted.
You saw that.
Her leg out. I watched it. I said, I saw her do that. And she said, "I can't believe you are standing here doing this right now."
Right.
And I said, "It's not real. Like, I just don't believe it." She said, "Okay." So she gets up and the man comes. Same thing. "Do you see that? Do you see the shift in his body? Do you see?" I said, "It's fake. Are you kidding me?"
Could he hear you saying this?
No, I don't know if he heard me or not, but I didn't care.
You didn't care?
Because I wasn't supposed to be up there. I was
wow.
Like, "Can I please go back to my seat?" She said, "Anita," like she just couldn't believe that I was acting like this. She said, "You're really acting like a 2-year-old.
Right.
I said, "Whatever you want to call it, like, I just don't believe it."
Right.
So they called me around. She said, get your butt in that chair." So the prophet, his armor bearer, said, "I have a word for you before you sit down." So he said, after this, he said, everything in your life is going to change. So he gave a breakdown of some other stuff that he said. I can't remember everything that he said, but he had me sit in a chair. He said, "Scoot your butt all the way back to the back of the seat." I said, "Okay." He said, "Do you mind if I take your shoes off?" I said, "Yes." "Go ahead, take them off." So he holds my feet, and he kind of like put his ear. He said, what's ailing you?" And he said, and I said, it's my lower back. I said, "I have disc bulge L4 and 5, S1 and 2, and I have an out of place SI joint." And what people don't understand and why I did the testimony is because I've been living with this since my pregnancy with my daughter. My daughter will be 19 this year.
Wow.
So that's a long time. So from having facet injections, when I say just about every procedure you can think of besides spinal surgery, I've had it.
Wow. Okay.
So I explained all of that to him. So he placed my feet back on the floor and he said, "Okay, now stand up." He said, "Do you feel the pain?" And I said, "Well, it was close to my kidneys." I said, "But it shifted." So he said, "But do you still feel it?" I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Well, walk 3 steps and walk back." I walked 3 steps and I walked back. He said, "Do you feel the pain?" So I'm like, I didn't lean to the left, lean to the right. I didn't bend forward. When I say you could have bought me for a copper penny, I thought I was on the infomercial.
Wow.
I started screaming and howling, my eyes and crying, and I wept. I wept for 3 days because that was the first time I had slept uninterrupted in 18 years. The first time. That's crazy. I could not believe it. And I kept, even when I went back to my seat, I was like, "Where'd it go?" And my sister behind me, my god sister behind me, she said, "All you had to do was believe." She said, "I told you, just believe." And in that very moment, I said, I felt like the woman with the issue of blood. I said, even though I said she went up with an expectancy, knowing that touching just the hem of his garment, that she would be healed. I said, I went up with nothing. I had no expectations whatsoever. I didn't even believe. And even in that, God said, "I'm going to show you."
Wow.
"I'm going to show you by my stripes, you are healed." When I say,
How you feel right now?
like $1 million.
Really?
Seriously. When I say Bishop told me, I kept looking for it. He said, quit looking for it for the devil, give it back to you. I ain't looking for it no more. I promise.
Get out of here.
Seriously.
So, I mean, you were skeptical, and, you know, I think when I watched your video this morning, it just, to me, was a metaphor for what we're going through now. You know, it's a metaphor for what we're going through now. There's so many people in pain, so many people getting sick, and if you can believe.
Just believe.
If you can believe. And even if you don't believe.
Yeah.
And you said something in the video, you was like, even if you don't believe, he'll still give you his grace and his mercy. I was like, yo, that was crazy to me. His grace and mercy is unmatched.
Yeah. It just is. I know every time I talk about this, like I get choked up because I know that people are going through so much. Like we go through so much. Everybody has a story.
Yes, ma'am.
And I look at, you know, my childhood from child molestation and rape and teen pregnancy. I had my first pregnancy at 13. Like there's so much to my life and to my story, and my life could be so different. But I thank God for his grace and for his mercy. And every day is a rebirth. I wake up, when you talk about an attitude of gratitude, I get on my daughter's nerves. She said, how do you wake up with a smile on your face? I'm like, shoot, I am happy to be alive around here. You hear me? I said, I could be cracked up or cracked out. So when I get up in the morning, I check my pulse every morning. I am alive. I said, if you can't be thankful for anything else, I said, you got so many people in the world that are so ungrateful, and they're always looking for the role to play the victim. Like, stop playing the victim. Wow. Stop living in that. Allow those wounds to heal and move forward and be thankful that you are alive, because your outer extremities could be non-functional. You could be laid up in a hospital bed somewhere. You could be being fed by a feeding tube. Yes. I mean, everything could be done intravenously, but it's not. Like, you are alive, man. Wow. It's like, when I say grateful, thankful, that's why my organization is Find One Reason to Smile. If you can't find one reason every day to put a smile on your face and be thankful for all that God has given you. It's real.
Hey, sis, how do people find you, man? I know you're on social media. I know you're doing work all the time, and from public speaking to your philanthropy. How do people get in touch with you?
My website is AnitaEHawkins.com. My Instagram is AEH Fashion. Facebook, Anita Hawkins. And email, if you want to email me, findonereasontosmile@gmail.com.
Girl, you got me smiling. You made my day. Thank you so much for sharing this story. And I already was a fan. I'm a super fan now.
Rodney, you know I love you, man.
What was the pastor's name?
Bishop J.L. Brown. He's in Tallahassee, Florida.
J.L. Brown.
Yes.
I'm going to tag him on this video too. Hey, thank you so much for coming on, sis.
Thank you.
Find a reason to smile. I'm smiling. You made my day. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate it.